Hi, everybody. It is Kathy, and I love to be selling. Come on in, sellers. Come in, come in, come in. We are going to be discussing eBay selling and the coronavirus, the impacts on our selling right now, and what you can do proactively for your eBay business. So come on in and get settled. Let me know that you can hear me. Just comment and let me know and how you are. A little chilly today here in New York. I would say mid 40s. I was actually out dropping my mail off and then came right home. And I will be talking about that too. We're going to talk a couple things about the coronavirus and eBay selling, but just let me know how you are. Quiet in New York and sadly quiet. And it's because so many businesses are closed right now because of the coronavirus quarantine that's in effect here in New York. And I'm sure where you are too. And that's what I want to talk about. But come on in and we will get right to it. I really want to stick to facts. I want to keep this very, very simple and keep it on target to be absolutely helpful to you, my eBay seller friends. So what I wanted to talk about first off was I was here in New York City for 9/11. And a lot of things that are going on with Corona, to me, bring back such memories from 9/11. And I was also here in the city for Superstorm Sandy. So, hey, John, how are you? Sales are down for a lot of sellers. They are, but other sellers are up. And I do want to talk about that, John. So I'll be getting to that. Um, so I was in the city for 9/11. And the way Corona is reminding me of 9/11 was that literally we woke up the morning of 9/11. It was actually a beautiful sunny morning. Um, and the repercussions from 9/11 with the Twin Towers coming down, it just absolutely changed everything in an instant. And it reminds me so much of Corona, where, we hear of the virus and we hear of various things and we hear of things nationwide, in China and Italy and other nations. And we start to see things happen here. And then literally, it seems like almost overnight, things have changed dramatically here in the United States and dramatically for those of us that are online sellers. So, a couple of things are happening I'm noticing with eBay sellers. And if you don't know, I'm Kathy Terrell, and I am a top-rated seller on eBay. I'm selling on eBay for over 12 years, so I've seen a lot of different things happen on eBay. I am a trained eBay education specialist. I work with sellers of all sizes, from quite small to extremely large. I do manage some accounts for large Amazon sellers that are selling on eBay. So I have the great honor to work with literally hundreds and hundreds of sellers in a lot of different categories. So I can see things and see who's getting sales and see who's not getting sales and see trends quite rapidly. I do have extensive retail experience here in New York City. I was involved in retail for over 25 years, and I was also on the QVC shopping channel for over 6 years as a product presenter. So my skills are very much retail, very much how do I sell something where people can't see, taste, touch, or smell it. So I really love focusing on eBay search, how to help sellers to get optimized for eBay search, to get seen and to get sold. And I'm an eBay sales social media success coach. So this is basically two things are going on right now for sellers. There are sellers that are doing really, really well right now. Actually, three things going on. So you've got sellers that are doing really, really well because of the categories that they're in. You've also got sellers where the sales are pretty much the same. I was actually talking to a collectible seller today, and their sales are pretty much the same because what they sell is more high-end collectibles. And actually, people being home and self-quarantining, some people are adding to their collections because in their income situation isn't impacted by Corona. So again, it's going to depend very much what you sell. So again, other sellers that are really crushing it because the categories that they're selling in are in high demand right now. And then you've got other sellers that are really, really, really having a rough time. And that's what I want to talk about. We also have a lot of new sellers that are coming in because they are self-quarantined their home, or they might have sold just a little bit here and there. And because they've had hours cut, or they might have been completely laid off from their jobs, they are now going full steam eBay. So I've got a couple of tips for our newer sellers, some thoughts for more experienced medium sellers, and then some thoughts from my very experienced sellers. I've got some tips for you if you're having a rough time right now. If you're doing great, all I can say is keep going. You're doing great. I'm so glad to hear that, because a lot of sellers are having a rough time. Also, for my eBay seller friends, because I do work with cross-channel sellers, as busy as Amazon is right now, if you're not aware of it, a lot of people are buying household goods with Amazon Prime because of so many stores being sold out of things like toilet paper and paper towels. There are Amazon sellers that are suffering terribly right now. I've spoken with a couple that are, because they're not in those categories, because they don't sell toilet paper and paper towels. They're having a rough time. So if you're having a rough time on eBay, you're not alone. There are sellers on other sites that are having an equally rough time, if not a worse time. So my heart with this presentation today, and I'll do some more broadcasts on this, is in light of the coronavirus, because from everything I see and read and hear, this is not going to go away in 24 hours, and it's not going to go away in 3 or 4 days. And that's, again, why this reminds me so much of 9/11, because right after 9/11, at least here in the city, we did not know what was going on. I remember going out and literally not knowing, like, was a bomb going to go off on my block? I did not go on the subway for weeks because we were scared of bomb scares on the subway. And it was far better to get a little tired and walk 45 minutes than to go on the subway system. Now we're encouraged not to go on the subway system because of the coronavirus, because of keeping 6 feet away, and we're encouraged to self-quarantine. So it's just a lot of memories coming back. So again, if your sales are up, go. Now, if your sales are up, and again, because we don't know how long this corona situation is going to impact us all. If your sales are up because you are selling household staples, like you are selling toilet paper, Lysol, baby wipes, diapers, that kind of thing, which is in high demand right now because it's sold out so many places, just be careful. Because what can happen in a situation like this is you will get overstocked on something, and then all of a sudden the bottom will fall out of the market, because then all of a sudden the stores will have supplies, you know what I mean, that everything will balance out, and then you're going to be stuck with tons and tons of inventory. So if you are able to source, if you are selling in a high demand product right now, just my caution to you is be very careful you don't get stuck, okay? My other thought, and this is me talking to you, and certainly it's your business and you get to do what you want, is when I'm selling a very high, I actually had an in-demand product. I'll say what it was. I had some hand sanitizer before it got banned from eBay. Actually sold out like right at the right time. I did not price gouge. I priced fairly. I went a little higher once all of a sudden I realized it was flying out the door. I think I bumped it up like 10%, but I consciously did not price gouge because of the fact that I realized what was going on, which is people are very concerned. It was selling out in their areas, and it felt inappropriate to take advantage of people's fears that way. This is me talking to you. It is your business. You get to do whatever you want. To me, it's not like selling a collectible Starbucks mug that all of a sudden becomes highly desirable. People don't need a Starbucks mug for their livelihood, for living or to keep germs away. Something like a hand sanitizer or baby diapers when people cannot get them and they have small children, baby wipes. I've got a girlfriend that just adopted a preemie. She has to have the formula. She has to have certain things for her baby. So I'm sort of throwing it out there as far as integrity, price gouging, being appropriate. Let's say your sales are down. Let me just say, hey, Fiona, hey, Dave. Non-essential sales are a challenge right now. Exactly. And that's the thing financially, Dave, and it's knowing who your customer is. So for instance, my friend who sells collectibles, and she sells high-end collectibles, her customers, their income is the same. Their income hasn't changed. They're not laid off. They haven't had their hours cut. They're home. They have more time on their hands, so they're adding to their collections. And I am not knocking those customers. It's like, yay for those customers, because they're keeping a lot of people's stores alive. But then you've got people that sell, clothing sellers seem to be particularly hard hit right now, because if your income is severely limited, or if you're spending an enormous money on home essentials because you're scared of things selling out, you're scared that you're not going to be able to get a hold of things, so that you're spending an enormous amount of money on groceries, baby wipes, formula, whatever, then you don't have that income for the wonderful eBay t-shirt, you would be buying, or hat, or anything like that. So part of it is know who your typical customer is. And if you're noticing a huge decline in your sales, then your customer, either they're having their hours cut or they're just sort of doing a pause on purchasing for now. Because again, this is why it reminds me so much of 9/11. So many people just don't know what's going on right now. And because of that, they're sort of easing up on shopping for various things. They're going to sort of wait and sort of see how things go before they start making purchasing choices. If your sales, so the people that are up, yay, you're fine, you're getting sales. Just be careful if you're in certain categories that all of a sudden the demand, very much like a stock market, all of a sudden the demand for your item just drops, is if your sales are not doing well, a couple of things. One, if eBay, Amazon, wherever you're selling is a side income for you and not something that is life and death for your family, and you have children at home or you have elder care situation or whatever, this can be a time where you just go, for right now, eBay, Amazon selling is on the side because other things are taking my time right now. That is totally fine. Just, know what your personal situation is. Other people, it's like, no, I need my eBay money. I need it for my bills. This is my livelihood. This is how I make a living. Then you got to look at, okay, what categories am I in? What is not selling? Now, I know for some people, just about nothing is selling. Then you got to look at what is your inventory. If your inventory is all moderate price clothing and it is not selling, then what you do is you go on eBay, and if you've got an eBay store, if you've got a basic store or higher, or you can just do eBay advanced search, look at what is selling. And I'm not saying everybody, because we all know that toilet paper has been selling out all over the place. This is not like let's all become toilet paper salespersons, okay? But look at what items are in demand now that you could source from things on hand. Many sellers have unlisted inventory. For instance, a lot of people's children are at home right now. Not everybody has streaming. A lot of people still watch DVDs or might even listen to CDs. Do I have children's entertainment that perhaps I could put in bundles? I'm thinking something like Thomas the Train. I remember my grandson's now Paw Patrol, but before he was Thomas the Train, I sold his Thomas the Train DVDs on eBay. They sold in like a week. I put them in a bundle. And this was before everything going on. People need entertainment for their children, their home, more educational entertainment, coloring book bundles, educational bundles, crafting. A lot of people are doing crafting projects. So look at, I'm not saying go out and buy stuff because a lot of people's incomes are obviously limited right now because they're not getting the sales that they want, but do you have unlisted inventory that would be something that would sell right now? Maybe something you were holding off until the summer or the fall or Christmas that might be perfect this time of year. And the other thing is to go and look at what you have listed and see if anything makes sense to make a bundle, like at-home craft project for 2-year-olds, like a 2-year-old craft bundle, 4-year-old craft bundle, first grader, whatever bundle. Okay, learn how to sew, learn how to quilt, learn how to make a table. You got to think of what people are doing with time. I know here in the city, the gyms just got closed. I'm laughing about it, but and everybody's so homebound, fitness DVDs. Also, that occurred to me is, again, a lot of people stream, but a lot of people don't stream. Do you have Pilates DVDs or some kind of fitness DVD where you go, gosh, nobody does this anymore because everybody's at the gym? Or, well, no, they're not right now because the gyms are closed. If you haven't listed that, or if it's listed but it's sort of gone dead, maybe go in and tweak it a little bit. Okay, so that's what I want to say to you is, Again, we don't know how long this is going to go on. We do not know all the repercussions. I'm a very proactive person. Okay. I still remember even 9/11 where I was like, our mail was shut down, which thankfully with Corona that hasn't happened yet. Is our mail was shut down for a while. I mean, it was challenging. I'm laughing, but I'm not laughing. Is whatever this is, we can deal with it. It's a matter of keeping level headed and knowing what I have control over. I do not have control over what people will buy or what they don't buy. But what I can do is look at, well, what do they need? Even with people's limited income, what do they need right now that I can source, that I can supply? For instance, what is probably not a great idea to source right now, because sadly, a lot of the kids' graduation parties and everything looks like they may not happen, and proms and all that kind of thing. I would not be busy listing prom dresses, and I would not be busy listing prom accessories or anything like that, because it just doesn't look like it's going to happen. Oh, but one thing that does look interesting, because a lot of people are going to be doing something for Easter Passover, but clearly not the kind of public events. Again, we never sort of know what's going to happen with Corona, but this quarantine looks like it will be in effect for at least a couple of weeks. Is they're going to want to do something perhaps in the home, Easter egg hunts in the home, some kind of Easter thing in the home, Passover thing in the home. Do I have anything maybe in my home? Do I have any new sealed Easter things that I could get listed up? Okay, do I have anything listed that I could maybe repurpose and sort of play with the keywords and make it an Easter spring thing? I do think some clothing sales will start, because as the weather gets warmer, people, again, even if we're self-quarantined, I want some floral. I want to get out of this black. I want some pink, and I want some blue, and I want some yellow. And if it's a wonderful shirt on eBay that I can get for 9 or 10 bucks, I'm going to treat myself, because it's like I just need, some color and some floral to perk me up. So again, it's really, and I don't have one of my hats around. I have one back there. Think like your buyer. Okay, if they're not buying what you've got, is there anything in your home? And I'm going to give a plug for a place like Bulk. If you've got some spare cash, you've even got a little bit of money, is maybe take a look at Bulk and buy one of their cases, not one of their pallets, unless you've got a room for a pallet. But you can get a case, which is basically just a big box, and see, is there anything on the Bulk site that looks like the kind of thing that's going to be selling now? Don't forget you've got therapy. Don't forget you've got advanced search. And while we're on the topic, if you have a little spare time right now because your sales are slow, it is a very good time to be doing some social media. So as you're putting up maybe an Easter package, or you're putting up your household items, you're putting together your packages of things that you might be selling now. And I'm trying to think too of, the household goods. It's stuff that you go like, what? Because people cannot get to the store. They're buying everything online right now. Here in New York City, like, all the big stores are closed. Supermarkets are open. What else was open today? Because I dropped my mail off. Drugstores were open, but extremely limited availability of stuff. Honestly, things like, Bare Aspirin. I'm not trying to plug a brand, but you know what I mean. Bare Aspirin, Aleve, shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, all that kind of thing. Is if you have extra and you're not concerned about running out, is take a look what the prices are going for on eBay. Look around your home, over-the-counter prescription stuff. Is there something? Brushes, combs, mirrors, everything. Is people are shopping 100% online right now. So take a look at that, particularly if it's new and sealed. And again, go through your unlisted inventory. Go through what's listed too. And then you're going to want to take a look at your social media. So let me hop you over and give you a free tip sheet. So hang on. And you guys, don't give up. You know what I mean? We got through 9/11. We've gotten through a lot. We can get through this. It's going to be fine. You just got to hang in there and think like a buyer. So you're going to hop over to my website. I love to be selling. Go to free tips, essential social media cheat sheet. And the reason you want to, and grab this, and it's got all kinds of tips. I'm giving you tips from this cheat sheet, which is why you want to grab it for Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, and Instagram, for all of them. And it's free. So you hop on my website. The reason to do social media for whatever you have posted, because again, I think the spring clothing, I know for myself, I'm starting to feel like, I need a little something to brighten up. And that can be sunglasses, that's jewelry. So hang in there, all my clothing sellers. Is get busy with your social media now, because you want to get that extra Google search benefit that you get from social media that's free. You want every search benefit you can possibly get for your items right now. So that when people are on looking for, I know Dave sells cell phone accessories, a wonderful cell phone case where I go, and here's my wonderful, actually, Dave, I got to buy another cell phone case from you. I go, I have my purple cell phone case because I'm a purple girl. But I said, you know what? I just need a little treat. I want a pink cell phone case, again, because it's not a big expenditure. It's maybe $5 or $6. I'm home. I'm self-quarantined. It's like, let me treat myself with $6 on the cell phone case for myself, for the pop sockets. Again, like a t-shirt, I'm just going to spend $8, $9, $10. Do the social media. And if you grab my tip sheet, that's going to help you with that. Because that way, when they're Googling floral t-shirt, pink cell phone case, or whatever, they're going to find yours. But this whole thing with the coronavirus, again, some sellers are doing really well. I had a collectible seller let me know today they're doing great, okay? People that are selling the essential household goods are doing really well right now. The clothing sellers, I'm not sure how luxury, I have to check in with my luxury seller people, because the people that buy luxury goods, again, are typically in jobs and income brackets that they're not having their hours cut so much. But so many people are, so they're going to be sticking to essentials. So look around and see what you have in your home, in your storage unit, in that unlisted inventory. Perhaps take a look at something like bulk or another liquidation service, but do your homework, and see if you can get some desirable goods that way, because this is going to go on for a while, the coronavirus. We are going to be self-quarantined for a while. People's shopping habits are going to be changed for a while. And to stay successful, this is what reminded me after 9/11, to stay successful, you have to do a pivot if your stuff isn't selling. It's not just like, oh, my stuff doesn't sell for Christmas, but it does sell for January. Is think of things that are going to be in demand now. And there's a big range, because basically all age brackets, all lifestyles are asked to be self-quarantined right now. There are very few people that are working regular hours in an office. Pretty much everybody is homebound right now in a home office. So think of that. Actually, I was thinking, I don't mean to laugh, but there's a lot of wine drinking going on with this self-quarantine. If you have beer and wine accessories, right? If you've got some beautiful wine glasses, beer goblets, beer signs, this is also a very good time to put that kind of thing up. Okay, you guys? So please, please, please do that. Oh, somebody, Sharon was saying she has a ton of art supplies. Good, absolutely. And you might, Sharon, you might think about putting that into a bundle, because that could be a fun bundle. Okay. Thomas says he has a lot of unlisted inventory. Good. But Thomas, when you're looking, if you're somebody with hundreds of pieces of unlisted inventory, yay, which means you don't have to go shopping. Look at it very carefully and think, this unlisted inventory, what is most likely to sell now? That's what you're focused on, particularly if you're slow. Thomas, if you're rocking it and crushing it, yay, keep it up. But if your sales are slow, look at your unlisted inventory and think, homebound person, what do they need? What do I have that's unlisted that would appeal to them now? Because that's what you want to get listed now. And then grab my free tip sheet from my website, ilovetobeselling.com. The social says essential social media cheat sheet, and push it out. Do some Facebook, do some Pinterest, do some Instagram. You can do it a couple minutes a day, because you want to get ranked in Google search, so our nice homebound shoppers will find us. Okay? Great, you guys. Hang in there. You're going to do this. I'm Kathy, and I love to be selling. Bye-bye, everybody.